This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Music legend Daryl Hall is taking over the Minnesota State Fair Grandstand on August 28th.
And here's to you, Mrs. Robinson.
Want your shot at tickets to the show plus State Fair admission?
My brown-eyed girl. Doo-doo-doo.
Check out KFAN.com keyword contest to see how you could win your way in today.
Couple 13-14 pastime common. East Tennessee, the legendary Mark Rosen joins us now. And
good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. And, you know, I don't know what to think.
What's that?
At this point, well, last night, I'm watching a terrific performance by our Minnesota Twins.
You make me laugh.
And I send 656, I send you a text that says, what do you think of this Twins club now? And you go, Paddock has always been a bum.
He has.
And so you're basically taking away from what the Twins were doing, because I think you're amongst that group of you almost want the Twins to fail now because you're so angry and bitter about
you went
those
on
trades.
for, 15 minutes at least yesterday talking about the ineptitude of this franchise for over how many years. How many times have I, talking to the emailers, how many times do I have to tell you they're in it for one reason and one reason only? That's the profit.
Correct.
They don't care about winning. So, I am.
How about that performance last night?
Well, how about today?
Are we winning getaway day
8-4?
Yeah.
And is it Luke? Is it Keishel? Is that how you pronounce his name?
I've been watching him for a long time.
I'd give him an 8 years, $80 million contract right now.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, former second-round draft pick who's out with a serious elbow injury for the first 80 games, coming back with a vengeance. I think he hit another dinger today, but he's got 2 for 3. Look up the box score here. 2 for 3.
Keishel, Brooks Lee,
3 RBIs.
Roden, Royce Lewis. Now think of those three right there.
Yeah.
Young, talented kids. You mix in Buxton, little Wallner, Larnick. Get Miranda back to where he was.
Got Walker Jenkins coming, my guy.
Walker Jenkins, I watched. They had a highlight package in the game last night of him. They talked about the numbers he's posted the past. It was a week or last month.
Right.
Wherever he's playing, he was the blah, blah, blah player of the month or player of the week, whatever. He was just tearing the cover off the ball. We have a great pitching staff. I think
future shortstop.
And look at the starting staff. Look at how good Zebby Matthews was last night against a dangerous Tigers lineup. This team is starting to put things in. And then you've got Lopez is going to come back. You got Joe Ryan. This team is, I think, set up for the future. I like what I see with this club.
Yeah.
And
so what does that have to do with yesterday's
future? I wouldn't even give up on the present.
Well, I wouldn't even give up on the present.
Why? So how does that mesh with your rant yesterday?
Well, that's what they've been doing for years and years and years. It's
so what you're saying is that doesn't take away the enjoyment of watching the team.
Yeah.
By knowing that the poll ads don't care about winning, they just care about the bottom line.
More than anything, I think is that I just found it. Everybody was so up in arms. Now this is the last straw for me. You know, I've put up with this and I've defended them forever, but now I can't anymore. And it's like the first thing I said is they didn't break up the 27 Yankees.
No,
it's not as though that all of a sudden they just stripped down a team that was ready-made to be a contender for an American League pennant, maybe a World Series title. It was a team that was underachieving. They weren't playing very well, and they decided to blow it up. Now you could still, and I will criticize all of the poll ads the way they've approached in a non-salary cap league. When you have a team and they've had those teams over the years where it's like, it's pretty good, right? If we just added one little piece there, and they would never do that. That was always my biggest complaint.
Imagine this team right now having kept Griffin Jacks and Owen Duran, keeping those two guys in the bullpen because they still have magnitude of pitching problems. They had a starter.
Jacks demanded a trade.
When? After the fact, after all the
but he demanded a trade. So to make Jacks happy, you say, well, if we trade anybody, he's going to demand a trade, so we don't do anything. You can't let one player's demand.
Okay, so just keep Duran. I'm just saying, if you have a closer, which they don't have right now, and I had no problem with almost any of the everyday players, I want to call them that, or reserve players that they traded, but we knew that it was a salary dump. And that was the main reason why. It wasn't They weren't trading Royce Lewis. They weren't trading, obviously Buxton had a no trade clause. So, I mean, maybe a guilty pleasure. What's that?
They weren't going to trade Keishel.
Well, no.
They're not trading Brooks Lee.
No. So, I mean, my guilty pleasure right now, and I don't really. I mean, doesn't matter to me if they win or lose. I just like. I mean, I don't mind watching some of these kids play in the interim before the football season starts. But because of their pitching, their lack of pitching, Zeb Matthews can help them out a little bit here and there. But they're going to be. They'll probably be a 500 type team the rest of the year, which is possible. I mean, if you look at their lineup today, and Roden, Wallner, Jeffers is a good hitter. They kept Cody Clemens has had a good season considering that who he is. He's at 228. Keishel's in the middle of that lineup, and Royce Lewis, Brooks Lee, Julian. I can't handle him at all. I think he's awful. The guy named Gasper was their DH who was 0 for 3. And who? Buxton, I would assume he might even be back this weekend. I think his 10 days are about up. But their pitching is going to be problematic. That's going to be the problem. They had a starter. What's his name? Is that his name?
Opener, they call him, right?
An opener, yeah. Who looked good at times, and they gave up a couple dingers.
He can spin it a little bit.
No, he's a 2-3 inning guy.
He just needs a little work. You got to be patient when you're building for the future.
Okay.
Just give it a couple 13, 14 years.
They are who they are, and I'll be anxious to see what they draw this weekend when they got a quick 2-game series. The Royals here, I mean, I think Buxton is
Arch rival. These are important games coming up.
Yeah.
These are critical games.
They get to play the sloppy Yankees next week in Yankee Stadium. They're just a mess right now. I mean, in terms of the way they're fielding, I've watched some of the highlights. It's like, oh, God, these guys look like the Keystone Cops out there. But the Twins are coming to town, so that'll probably. So,
matter of fact, you must like these trades because you said you think they'll be a 500 team this year or have the potential to be. And they weren't even 500 before the trades.
They might play 500 ball the rest of the year.
So that means the trades were worked. The team's improving.
It's possible
because they weren't 500 when they made the trades. No. They were 5 games under 500.
Well, I mean, it depends.
So if they play 500 now with this, I think you're starting to see you're coming around to my way of thinking.
What's your way of thinking?
That this club's got potential.
You can't talk like that after yesterday. Again, you can't say potential because then what that means to fast forward is as soon as these guys become good enough to earn the money that they should be compensated for, they're not going to be on this team anymore. And they're going to let you down again.
How do you know that?
Their history. You're the one that says it all the time.
You're the one that told me a deal is imminent. That the Pohlads aren't going to own the club here.
What does that have to do with anything? How do you know the new owners are going to be any better?
Oh, well, there's nobody that buys a team and goes, we're just here to cut payroll and not win any games. There's not a
cut
chance.
Payroll, but stay where they are until they figure it out. We don't know that.
I guarantee you, whoever buys it.
Remember, all I know is, there was an editorial in the paper today about it. I can't remember the gentleman's name. We know this. When the Twins had us help build Target Field, the promise was we're gonna build a contending team. In other words, we're gonna increase payroll. That's what it's gonna. That's why we can't compete unless we get a new ballpark. Well, they got the new ballpark. They competed 2 years out of how many? Matt, pretty
Whoever
much.
wrote this editorial, I said the same thing on the air 2 years after they bought the stadium. Or built a stadium, because they immediately cut the payroll after the first 2 years.
Right.
Yeah, so what he wrote is nothing new.
Well,
he's
just saying, I think the reason he wrote it is because he's cutting out, he's a season ticket holder too. And he's saying bye-bye after this year. That's the reason he wrote the bottom line of the editorial.
It took him that long?
Well, I mean...
To bail out?
I mean, they've been fairly entertaining. I wouldn't say they've been... And again, he all points to what happened 2 years ago after their postseason win. They cut salary by $30 million or whatever.
Let's do this. Let's take a break. We'll come back. More to get to with the legendary Mark Rosen, Tennessee in Common right here on The Fan. You know what I really like about our listener base is they always they keep tabs on us. They try to keep us honest.
Yeah, they sure do.
Including this email that I received last Thursday on the 31st. Says, when was it? Early on when they announced being for sale, was it in January that Rosen said he talked to some people, should be announced by opening day? Later he said June, by All-Star game, nothing. Finally, yesterday or today, I remember this game last week,
right? He
said he talked to someone in the know and something could happen soon, but he said he talked to his source 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, that's like a year ago in real time. Rosen has zero sources. He thinks you're making it up as you go along. You're just saying, because knowing that eventually a deal will be done.
First of all, I don't care enough to make it up.
Okay.
Let me just start with that.
All right.
Synopsis of where I'm at in my life and my career and everything else. It doesn't matter that part. There's no reason for me to make it up. I'm not trying to impress anybody. Yes, there were people that were, and I'm not the only one. It looked like this was on target to be sold. The source I have inside the Twins organization told me this was 3 weeks. I don't know, was it 2-3 weeks ago? I lose track of time even what I do with looking at my calendar. That they were closing in now. That was before all this happened. Does all the fire sale have anything to do with the sale? I don't know, but he was saying that it looked.
It is a he.
Yeah, and it looked like it was getting closer.
Tell me how about that? I'm like a detective.
Yeah, you're very clever.
Well, you didn't say the person.
I said he.
Yeah, okay.
There are a lot of very high-powered women in
that's what I'm saying, but we know that your inside source is a male.
So that's all I can say. All I can tell you is when you ask me, I say, well, this is what I've heard. I'm not making it up. I'm telling you what they told me. So, fine. I'll just not. I don't really care. All
right, well, I'm just reading the email.
No, I understand that. No,
they think you're making it up as you go.
No, I don't. Like I said, I don't care enough to make it up. I'm not 25 years old trying to make a name for myself.
You don't need to, right? You've made a name for yourself.
It's a question of caring. Of course, I care about my professionalism and all that. Absolutely. But I'm not going to make something up just to please, your audience.
Yeah. It's sad, really.
It is.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It's fun. Hold my feet to the fire. It's fine.
They're up 9-4 now, I think.
Are they?
They're just dominating. That's 3 of their last 4 they've won.
Well, and this is it. Now they're. We'll see how the team react. They got a day off tomorrow, and I think they held back Joe Ryan today, so they could 9-4 bottom of 7.
Do we have a message for the Detroit Tigers in the AL Central?
If it is, it's something like this.
May be closer than they appear.
I will just tell you this. What's happening to the Tigers right now is exactly what's going to happen to the Lions this year. High expectations, results invisible.
Well, with the Vikings, I'll say right back at you.
Yeah.
I mean, the Vikings, their windows open, and our defenses. PA is comparing it to the 85 Bears defense.
I don't think he quite said that.
Well, that's what I've been told, and you've been extolling the virtues of this offense. Everybody thinks this team's headed to the big game.
I
Pretty big
haven't talked about the Vikings. I'm just talking about your Lions, that they're going to fall from grace this year. And
we'll see.
Yeah, we will. That's all. I haven't said anything about Minnesota in that context. That's the team that's going to dethrone them.
I know your cute little defense is they've got McCarthy confused. I mean, this ain't Jared Goff and Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Laporta.
I understand
this is play against a big boy offense, and we'll see how great your defense is. As a matter of fact, last year I think the Vikings defense had all sorts of trouble with the Lions.
They did
plenty of trouble.
I don't deny that. They did.
The Lions moved the ball up and down the field,
especially in that playoff game, not playoff game, the championship game.
The one that decided basically
the NFC North.
Yeah. So I'm just telling you, we'll see.
Yeah. No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I completely understand that.
Yeah.
Poor Tigers. Yeah. They're going to go about as far as Milwaukee Brewers in the playoffs.
Yeah. I'll let you out of the bet if you want.
No, I'm very, very confident in. Even though the Brewers have dominated both the teams.
Well, they're 6-0 against the Dodgers and 3-0 against the Phils.
That's great.
You know what they do it with? Young players. They do it with. They're missing, I think, 3 of their best pitchers are injured right now, so they'll get them back.
No,
that's like making a trade. They you know what they do? They win with speed, defense. They don't sit.
They're a fun team to watch.
Yeah, well, they don't just hit home runs.
Like I said, they've been one of my favorite National League teams. Because of Molitor and that team, the Harvey's Wallbangers and the whole group. That was a lot of fun, and they deserve a championship there. They do. If you win, I'll be happy to erase the $12 debt that you have with me.
I'll let you out of it right now.
I don't want to get out of it. I still think they'll have their hands full if they end up playing before the Dodgers. I don't know who they'd end up playing. You said they're not going to. We're not talking about the National Championship Series. You're talking about getting to the NLC.
Just getting to the NLC, yes. That's our bet.
I still have to play a good team. I don't know. Maybe even be a wild card team. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wild card team, then you got a pretty good advantage. Milwaukee should win.
There was maybe some nervousness when it was announced we lost MV Fee. For a couple of weeks, minimum to an ankle injury. Sure didn't seem to affect us last night.
I saw some of that
nice
game.
Little W.
Well, we've said this before. That, she's missed a couple of games with back problems, I think they were. And they got the new player last night who made an impact both offensively and defensively, which is her forte. But Cheryl Reeve knows, she's not going to sit. None of those players are going to sit around feeling sorry for themselves. They have the best record in the WNBA. I think they're 5 games, in not including conferences. I think they're 5 games better than the Liberty. And we know they got a bunch of matchups coming up with them. And, you could shrug your shoulders so you don't have to worry about the Liberty unless you face them in the finals. But they got a well-rounded team. It just proves again that they played a good team last night on the road, and they were down early and they came back, and they're not going to sit around and feel sorry for themselves because Fee's gone at the moment. They went out and battled, and they won the game and earned it. So that's a good, as they say, a character test for the future. When they get her back, be out. Let her take her time. There's no rush.
That's and the beauty of it is, when she comes back, it's just like making a trade.
Well, not quite.
Well, no, it is, right?
Well, no, that's different than having someone out for.
It's just like making a trade.
Am I going to say the same thing when Jordan Addison comes back after 3 weeks?
It's just like making a trade.
Hey, they just traded.
That's the logic. That is the logic that the duckies and bunnies of the world.
Have you guys weighed in on this? Social media is filled with all the craziness in the world, but as if people didn't expect Addison. This has been known for months that he's going to get suspended for 3 games. All of a sudden, my God, we got to go get Adam Thielen. We got to go. We got to trade. We got to sign some. We've got to sign someone.
Tenneby is very confident that if things go well, we won't miss him at all.
We've known the Jordan Addison thing, but you also have the extra wrinkle of, I'm sure JJ is okay, but Jefferson does have a hamstring thing. So I think that's the combination of the two is making people go, hey, maybe we should go down.
I understand.
And I don't disagree with going to get down.
Does it matter if you have the 85 Bears-like defense? What does it matter?
It doesn't.
You can just run the ball every game.
What I'm saying is that because the Vikings were aware that Addison was going to get suspended back in April or maybe even before that for 3 games, they've had plenty of time through the draft, free agency, to go sign another wide receiver if they wanted to, or try to make a trade for one. The fact they haven't, and I'm not suggesting there's the impossibility that they're not going to go get someone. I think they're going to have to look at the development, as we see during these preseason games, of players down the depth chart. If somebody can play at that, at that level, and that then maybe Quasey will make the move. I think the way that Thielen finished the season last year, I don't think Carolina's anxious to move him.
Here's what I'll say.
I think he's still got something left in the tank. Right. Yeah, but I'd like to see him back. Yeah, but I don't think it's going to happen.
We don't need Thielen. Here's all we need. I got one name for you. Rondale Moore. Or is it Rondale White?
That's Rondale Moore.
Rondale Moore. He'll be just fine.
I like him a lot. I hope he can make an impact.
I've been watching him for years. Hard to see, though. He's only 5'7". But I've still been watching.
Watching him at Purdue?
Watching him at Purdue.
He was my favorite player at Purdue.
Mine too.
Watching Big Ten football.
Yeah, well Drew Brees was my favorite.
Was he? Yeah. Well, I can understand that.
Yeah. Let's take a break and come back. We got one more segment to go. It's the Common Man program with Common Tenneby and Mark Rosen here on The Fan. Couple 13-14 past Common Man program. I'm Common. He's Tenneby. Mark Rosen here as well. A number of people have texted me on the Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line to say that the Paul Allen Project, the host of the Paul Allen Project, was making comparisons between this Vikings defense and the 85 Bears. And I understand what he's doing because that works. It's got 2 purposes.
Okay.
First of all, he talks about how great the defense is in B-Flow. Plus, then it sort of allows you to accept the struggles of J.J. McCarthy, the offense. Well, anybody would struggle against the 85 Bears. So it works. It kills 2 birds with 1 stone. It gets the hashtag faithful psyched up about the Vikings defense, and at the same time, they go, yeah, defense that good. No wonder JJ struggled. That's not JJ. It's not our offense. That has nothing to do with it. It's because our defense is so good. So it serves two purposes. It's genius is what it is on PA's part.
And for those of you who are too young to have been around to watch the 85 Bears, let me just put it this way. No one should compare any defense that I've seen, including the Ravens. Ravens have had some great defenses. That's how Brian Billick won a Super Bowl. It wasn't because of their offense. It was because of their defense with Ray Lewis, et cetera, et cetera. The Bears were the most dominating defense I had ever seen. And I probably my entire lifetime. I mean, there was a couple of year run that they had, but I have these vivid memories because, in 84, they were building towards that, and they had basically the same personnel. The Vikings played them in 84 when Les Steckel was coach, and they went 3-13. And Archie Manning was a quarterback for the Vikings. His grandson and whatever. I
always called him Archie. I was just called Archie. I didn't buy with him.
Archie's yeah. Well, I did, and he was, he was near the tail end of his career, and they had Dave Casper on the team. In fact,
Mike Stivic used to call Archie Bunker. He just called him Arch.
Arch, that's true. Oh yeah, yeah.
Betty and Veronica used to just call him Arch from the Archies.
Jan Stenerud was on that team. He was in
Jan.
In Canton this past weekend. My lovely wife Karen had a chance to chat with him there as a Hall of Famer, and I used to detest him because he played for the Chiefs, of course, and beat the Vikings in the first Super Bowl they played in. Anyway, Stenerud was the kicker on that team, and I sat next to him on the team bus a couple different times. Had some fun conversations with the former ski jumper. But he was it was so bad. It was they beat up Arch Manning so badly that they told him, Richard Dent and all those guys in the defensive line said, Arch, just fall down. You might have, we don't want to hurt you. In other words, don't try to escape. Don't try to get out of the pocket. Don't try to, prolong the play.
Think about it.
And their offensive line was so bad, they had no which way to go. And I remember you can go down the field for the second half or whatever. It was like watching the Roman Coliseum, where the Lions, not your Lions, the real Lions had a big advantage over the Gladiators. They had no shot. Anyway, that was the genesis of what
had they employed Daniel as the as the quarterback, they wouldn't have had that problem.
Daniel Jones?
No, dare to be a Daniel, dare to stand alone. Daniel and the Lions did. Now, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Did the Twins say, is that final? Did we win yet? Or is
I don't know. I haven't looked.
We're just going through the motions now. That'll be 3 of their last 4.
9-4.
Bottom of 8.
Bottom of the 8.
All we do is, now we had 9 runs. All we do is stack runs on top of each other.
Yeah. I mean, and Royce hasn't got a hit here today. Royce Lewis hasn't got a hit.
Should have traded him too.
No.
Could have got a boatload for him. Well, we don't need him. Obviously, he didn't get a hit today. We're winning 9-4. I understand baseball.
You really
don't try to debate it with me. Speaking of baseball, did you see Major League Baseball is going to their history on Saturday?
What's that?
Jen Powell is set to become the first woman to umpire in Major League Baseball. She'll work games this weekend between the Marlins and the Braves. Mm-hmm. She'll work the bases in Saturday's doubleheader at Truist Park and the plate on Sunday. She's 48 years old. She's from New Jersey. She works spring training games in 2024. Yeah. L.A. Dodgers manager Davey Roberts says, baseball's done a great job of being completely inclusive. I'll be watching. It's good for the game.
It's about time.
MLB's move comes 28 years after the gender barrier for game officials was broken in the NBA.
Right. That's what
10 years after it ended ended the NFL, and 3 years after the the men's soccer World Cup employed a female referee. The NHL still has not had any women on ice officials.
That's hard to believe, too. Yeah, it is, and it's sort
Tell
of like...
me, what is it about your league?
Yeah, what is it about
What's wrong with the hockey community?
They don't want women...
Why won't you let
Well, there are women doing it at the younger levels all the time at the youth hockey. I would say...
How about the collegiate level?
I would say at the NHL level, and I think the women are getting closer to doing this, like those guys have to skate really well to be a referee out there at the NHL level. Like you got to be skating up and down the ice with them.
Heard of Dorothy Hamble?
There are obviously women that are able to do it. I'm just saying the pool of women
Nadia
is
Comaneci.
Nadia Comaneci.
Heard of any of those?
That seems like a rather flimsy reason why. I don't. That's the last reason why I would think. I mean,
well, no, of all the sports, like in baseball, they're stationary, right? Like there is a level of
football. They run. They're not
sometimes
they're running up and down the court the entire game.
I'm always surprised when they're older referees in football.
Yeah, I don't know. But even it really is kind of, to me, it should be kind of a non-story at this point because, especially after watching as many NBA games and you go, I don't think twice a woman's refereeing this game.
So, Tim, you think their skating ability isn't on par with the men?
That's what he's saying.
That's basically what you said.
Yeah. Oh, that's
all right.
It's not what I'm saying. Exactly.
Kind of.
Well, generally, yes.
Yeah, that's
we know what we're trying.
I will say women's hockey has come a long way compared to where it was, 20, 30 years ago.
That's the skills of playing the game at a high level. That's not the skating ability, just going up and down the ice.
Part of the skill is being able to skate.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big skill.
It's a big skill, but I'm saying it's not, the stick handling, it's not slap shots. It's being able to skate and have the durability and, the ability to do it for the entire game. But yeah, it wouldn't be that difficult, I think. Anyway,
at the younger levels, I've encountered many women referees.
Now I know.
Yeah.
I think it's a matter of time before it happens.
My sources are telling me.
What's that?
Aaron Rodgers is 41, but he's throwing the football like he's 21. Much like you.
I've heard just the opposite.
Seriously? I heard he's spinning.
Really?
Yeah, that's what the reports
I saw
I'm hearing.
One clip that made him look like he should be ready for the rocking chair. But I don't. I take that with a grain of salt, like I just took your comment with a grain of salt, because it doesn't matter until the regular season. Then we'll make our own judgments, obviously. I'm sure he's got a lot to prove in his own mind. Otherwise, people will remember, what.
If he would have signed with the Vikings, you'd be raving about his velocity and his spin rate.
No.
Now you would.
I didn't. I never said for a minute that I wanted him here. I said it would have been entertaining. If he was here, you
would be raving about him and talk about how great he is.
I'm not raving about J.J. McCarthy right now. I don't rave about too many players in training camp that when you're not facing a mad pass rush or the guys can shine, they can do things, and they'll be able to prove it again on Saturday afternoon. Especially the guys who are fighting for jobs, they'll have opportunities to see what it's like in full contact. And we'll go from there. But yeah, I mean, A-Rod is an interesting storyline this year. Of course, he
says he's open to playing in the preseason opener too.
I saw that. He's changing his ways. Well, for a series or two, why not? Pittsburgh.
What are you going to say?
See him with Pittsburgh.
What are you going to say if McCarthy struggles? He's benched by the middle of the season, and Aaron Rodgers is headed toward his unprecedented 5th MVP.
Man, he sure blew that.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I hope you'll say it.
No, that's not going to happen. First of all,
you don't know that.
Okay, I'll take my chances that A-Rod's best days are behind him. I know he's got a legendary coach, legendary organization, but Steelers ain't what they used to be. And I love the organization, but he's gonna have his hands full. Watched the first episode of Hard Knocks last night with the Buffalo Bills in their new stadium they're building, which is opening next year. And Josh Allen and everything they're doing down there. I mean, I like the series. I enjoy watching what they do. And this is kind of, Thurman Thomas was there giving his big, speech and talking about this is our year and you got to do it for the fans.
Did he find his helmet? Yeah.
He wasn't wearing one. But he talked about having two-a-days back in the day, and well, of course the Vikings did too. Most teams did. It wasn't just one big practice. It was, in Mankato, it was two-a-days and heavy hitting most of the time, in the afternoon in particular. They did not back off. That's where all the work got done. Now it's, the unions have taken over and they don't want guys getting hurt. Did
you see you're going to start in the Browns preseason opener?
I did not.
Shedeur Sanders.
Oh, he is?
Going to get the start. Yep. You loved him as a college kid.
I didn't see him play that often, but yeah, I saw all the highlights. I'm not quite sure the Browns are settled in on anybody right now. They still got a little bit of a quandary down there in Cleveland.
Kevin Stefanski, head coach, said Tyler Huntley, who signed with the team earlier this week, is also expected to play if he can get up to speed with the playbook. Joe Flacco, Cleveland's projected starting quarterback this season, is healthy but will not play. Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel will sit out while rehabbing from injuries. Here's what Stefanski said. My expectation for Shedeur is no different than the rest of the guys. I just expect him to go out and operate. When you get in these preseason games, you try to keep it very simple so guys can play very fast. It's all concepts, and these guys know and don't have to think too much about.
Well, good luck to Stefanski this year. I think he's going to need it. That's not a galaxy of stars down there.
No, for sure.
The quarterback room. But, yeah, maybe Shedeur will prove us all wrong. Possible. The kid's got skills, no doubt about it, but can he adjust to the NFL and et cetera, et cetera? Well, that's what we say about all the rookies, including our guy. He's been critiqued left and right. Everybody's got an opinion about it. He hasn't taken a snap yet. And even after he takes the snaps on Saturday against a second team Texan defense, they're not playing out of their defensive stars. I mean, Daniil's not playing, and there are a couple other big defensive players that we've heard, they're not playing. So hopefully he'll say, God, this is a lot easier than facing our defense. I think that's what PA was talking about today. But you also not have Justin Jefferson out there or Hawkinson out there, or I doubt if Aaron Jones is going to play. Maybe the new kid, Mason, will get a few snaps with the first team. And then Ty Chandler will probably play most of the game at running back.
Common Rosen just said Rodgers looks like he's ready for the rocking chair.
That's what I said.
Yeah. Not everyone can be in as good a shape as you, Mark.
No, that's true.
Feeling like you're 30 in your 70s. Maybe instead of a darkness retreat, Rodgers should start living with Rosen. Spend more time. Spend more time in the woods. Eat at fine dining establishments. The easy life.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he ought to do. That's what it's done for you.
Yeah. I'm not ready to play quarterback. But
no, but
I just think it's fascinating to think about what A-Rod's legacy is going. He obviously going to the Hall of Fame. But, we've seen quarterbacks, we've seen some great ones go out with a whimper, including Brett Favre his last year here, unfortunately.
Tennis should join the Vikings as a starting cornerback. That backpedal he did on women not being able to skate well enough to be in the NHL was...
No, because you guys are generally speaking now. Or I'm trying to generally speak, whereas you guys are trying to make it go to the extreme.
Welcome my world.
How would the women do when... Generally speaking, I'm sure that there are exceptions to the rule. There's exceptions.
Yep.
But if you have a scrum of 6 players fighting back and forth at each other, and the linesman's in there to break that up, have you looked at NHL referees?
Let me ask you a question.
Have you ever seen an NHL referee that's 50 pounds overweight?
Let me ask you a question.
No, because there's a physical expectation you have to be on the ice, avoiding danger and being able to skate to the right spots. You do.
I know
they are good athletes.
True, but I understand that. But I'm saying if
to avoid danger, they need a man to avoid danger to protect.
Well,
them.
To break up
maybe
a fight.
Maybe they could tag team. Maybe they could skate together.
She may not be the only one out there on the ice, but at the same time, it's like, hey, grow up, break it up. You hit each other in the face 3 times.
But they don't do that.
I'm sure it works exactly like that.
Well,
break it up, guys.
It's that easy, Rosie.
Hey, I'm just saying it's so overdone.
Here's what I'll tell you. Just say there's some guys squared off. You got to break it up. And you said, what about Adam's school lunch lady, Mrs. Hartman?
She could break up a fight.
We were terrified of Mrs. Hartman. She's tough. She's tough as nails.
Yeah, they could be. Nothing worse than a tough lunch lady glaring at you.
Mrs. Hartman. You know what?
That was her name?
Yeah, her name was Mrs. Hartman. Right. And when we were in school, Al, the janitor, put together, it was about the size of a phone booth. This is technology. You got to remember, this is the late 60s. And it sat on the wall in the lunchroom and had a red light and a green light on the top, light bulbs, right? It was on the top. It was like a gonculator. And then if the red light was on, you weren't supposed to talk in the lunchroom because it was too loud, right?
Right.
The green light was on, you could talk. If the red light came on, everybody had to just eat in silence. It was very...
Did it work? I bet it did.
Well, not for everybody. That's when you knew of the wrath of Mrs. Hartman. Because she'd come with that ruler and just
smack you on the knuckles,
whap you upside the back of the head with that ruler.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about like a little 12-inch.
No.
I'm talking about the yardstick that's square.
Yeah. whack.
There's almost like
That's what you could get
it's
away
almost
with
like a small baseball bat.
Teachers could get away with that stuff, getting paddled.
Well, they should.
Paddled, We got smacked in the buttocks, as Forrest Gump would say.
Ask Rosie if his wife would want to jump on the back of Todd Bertuzzi and pull him off somebody in a fight. So would she?
She's
With Karn,
tough.
would she be able to do that? Could she pull off?
She's an old farm girl. She's pretty tough.
So you think she could pull Todd Bertuzzi?
No, it could, but
I'm not sure the male referees could pull Todd Bertuzzi.
he was a fun, entertaining guy to watch back in 2003 when he was in Vancouver.
Tenneby wouldn't box a female Golden Gloves fighter, yet he thinks women can't referee hockey.
I thought it was the opposite. I thought it was that I could beat a female boxer.
Well, then I think you decided to back off of
Well,
that.
that's back. The question was first posed when I was like 27 years old.
Now you're an older man.
I'm not quite in the same physical shape I once
Well,
was.
if you'd follow Mark Rosen's lead, you would be. Why
There's
don't
still
you tag
time.
along
Well,
with
apparently
Mark?
there's still time for me.
Plenty of time for you.
Tag along with Mark Rosen.
Yeah. Try to hang out, man. You're funny.
You're the fitness king. Give me 20.
It's a stretch lab now.
You're doing Stretch Lab.
Yeah.
It's available to anybody.
It is. I was with a guy there on Tuesday who was never been in one before, or I think never done a stretch in his life.
I mean, can't you just stretch on your own? What do they do at
Yes.
Stretch Lab? What's so special about Stretch Lab?
Well,
Is it like a rack? Do they
No. You're just on a table, like a regular table, a massage table or whatever, and they just they work all parts. They help you with your stretches that you can't really do on your own. You can do some of them, but the pressure that they exert, and it's not hard. It's just a matter of the technique that they use. In my case, it's my lower back that I need work on a lot, and I can't do a lot of the stuff that they do without having an assistant, and they're pros at what they do.
Now Tana is saying in general, women are more inclined to be 50 pounds overweight.
That's funny.
What happens first? There's a woman referee in the NHL, or Rosen makes it to a Wild game in St. Paul?
Says the guy who probably hasn't been to a Wild game.
You didn't go. I got to admit, in all honesty, I was disappointed you weren't at the Lynx Liberty game. I thought for sure you'd be there, as much as you champion that Lynx club, as much as you like.
I don't remember the circumstances of the game.
We had nothing going on. What circumstance? When was it? It was gut check time. First of 4 matches against the team that cheated us out of the title. It was a big, big game, and you stayed home.
Well, I follow your lead because you never go out.
Well, yeah, but I don't pretend. Yeah,
I don't either. I don't go to all the events. I sometimes just like kicking back and watching it on the tube.
Twins game final now?
No, they're trying to close it out in the bottom of the ninth.
Who's closing? We don't have Durant.
Something called Krisky.
Never heard of him.
What do we do now? We don't have Durant. Well, there goes the game. We won't win this one.
Krisky oil.
What if Krisky just...
What are these names?
What if he's just throwing heat?
Hatch, Krisky.
Why don't they ever have a knuckleballer as a closer?
I know. I wish.
What a change of pace. Instead of a guy throwing 103, just have a guy float a knuckle over there going about 48 miles an hour.
Always
watch a
wonder
bottom drop out.
If they have a guy that down in the minors that just
nobody
cut
knuckleballs anymore.
No, they couldn't cut it with his fastball, so he's learning how to throw a knuckleball. And the next great knuckleball pitcher, the Wilbur Woods of the world, could teach him how to flutter one. Man, what a nice compliment that would be to get somebody like that. We think it wouldn't be that hard.
Wow, women can spend hours in labor, but can't skate up and down some ice for 3 hours.
Boy. You stepped on it there.
Here's one. A name for Rosen's workout facility, the Fraudulent Fitness Facility. Hip rehab and hot takes.
Yeah, try harder than that.
I thought it was funny.
Well, on that note, we'll be at
my favorite segment of the week.
TCO. I know it's always your favorite segment.
That was so good. Yeah. That was so much fun.
My favorite segment of the week is going to be tomorrow at TCO Performance Center.
Well, I told Tenneby yesterday if I had the genie's bottle, I'd rub it. I asked her for 3 wishes, and my next wish would be 2 o'clock so I could be with you. Tenneby says he wished it was 3 o'clock.
I heard him say that.
That was the line of the week.
Well, then you'll be gone all next week, so.
We'll see you tomorrow at TCO tomorrow. We'll be at Vikings training camp.
We'll be there.
Perfect. Tenneby, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. We enjoyed our visit. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll talk to you tomorrow from TCO Performance Center for Vikings training camp. Our coverage continues. Big Ticket, JG, they're next here on The Fan.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Minnesota! And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.